Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on XRP, your Saturday update. So first of all, hope you're all having a great start of the weekend, and I want to wish you all a great weekend as well. In this video, I want to kind of prepare you, or at least talk about all the possibilities of this weekend for XRP specifically. Unfortunately, the price action hasn't really been that constructive, at least not constructive in the direction that we want to. Yesterday, when I did my middle of the day market update, XRP was still able to hold 2.41 right here, which ultimately, in my opinion, is the most important level. Obviously, it's an area, right? So yesterday you could have also said, you know, we're still below 2.43, 2.44, which is part of that same area, the point of control area, which 2.41 is the middle of. So maybe yesterday I could have already been a little bit more defensive. But you have to pick a level, right? And for me, that level is 2.41. Yesterday, we were able to hold that. Not a lot of strength, though. Volume was also quite low over the course of the entire day yesterday. And now we've dropped down below that, all right? So purely technically, look, I want to be very bullish on XRP. And I always am if I see a reason to be bullish, of course. Like we were right here, right? I mean, we made a video on Monday when we had that elevated volume. And I said, you know, I think we can actually break out here. But I'm limited. I'm limited in what I can tell you based on what I see on the chart. All right, and what I see on the chart right now, it's not necessarily bad. I mean, may I remind you that XRP has been incredibly resilient over the last couple of weeks, right? XRP, just to remind you, is at the same levels right now as it was at the beginning of December. Name me some other coins that are at those levels. All right. Maybe Bitcoin, but Ethereum isn't there. All the major coins aren't there. All right, so XRP is extremely resilient. And I don't expect the structure that we are in, which is this consolidation between $2 and 2.8. Don't come at me with a head and shoulders pattern. It's not true. It's invalid, and it has been invalidated for a while now. But I expect that structure to hold, right? And that structure is still on the very high time frames. It is still incredibly bullish, right? Because if you go to the 3-day time frame, we made an all-time high right here, or at least we made those highs right here. I think maybe once we spiked up higher, but that was quite some time ago. And now we're consolidating just below those highs. Historically, every time you see that, you see a continuation at some point of time. So that's great news in general, I think, for XRP. However, on the short term, we have to be critical as well and say, you know, yesterday we got some bad news, or actually 2 days ago, but I was already asleep then. Someone in the comments said that it wasn't actually bad news. Look, I can agree with you on the fact that it's not that bearish, but it's obviously not good news, and it did have somewhat of a bearish effect. I think you could have observed in the price action, and the price action doesn't lie to you. But all of that has caused XRP to drop down below 2.41 here, which we've talked about before, but that for me basically means that we are at least going to drop down below towards the 30-day rolling VWAP, 90-day rolling VWAP, 200 EMA and key level right here at 2.28, 2.26. So I expect a continuation back into that unless we get some major strength from Bitcoin, unless we get some super good news for Ripple. But at this point of time, it doesn't really feel like that's in the chart. It feels like we're going to get a very standard weekend for Bitcoin, and that's normally not something that's going to be able to push XRP above 2.43, 2.44, which I do think we need to be above. We also lost the 7-day rolling VWAP. In the end, we hit the value area high right here. I expected us to go higher initially, but the circumstances have changed. All right, so therefore, I would say it's more likely that right now we'll see a continuation into 2.28, 2.26, where I expect extended support, and from there we'll reevaluate if we can potentially get a break above 2.42, 2.44 from there, or that we are going to go back down towards 2.15 and potentially even 2.05, where we have the value area low. But that's for later. For now, enjoy your weekend. Hopefully this helps a little bit, but take care and bye.